And we look forward to hitting this up with you. Gary Cobb, as always, will join us at 4:30 today. I heard something that Dick Vermeil said, and I want to start this off with Jalen Hurts here. He came up with something pretty interesting here. Somebody said to him, hey, we got to figure a way on taking down the run attempts for him this coming season. We got to figure a way to preserve this guy. You know what Vermeil's attitude is? Why? Play him. Play him. Don't take his running ability away. Why would you take one of the top assets that he has away? Why would you do that? If you think about it, Vermeil's right. If you're going to play, here's why I say this, Dick Vermeil's not looking for a long career for Jalen Hurts. Now, would you rather have a 5-year superstar years with this player playing the way he did a year ago? Or would you try to hold him back from being Jalen Hurts and overcoach him? Isn't taking away the running attempts actually overcoaching him? So you're going to take one of his – because look, one more time here. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He'll never be Patrick Mahomes. He'll never throw the ball like Justin Herbert. He will never throw the ball like Joe Burrow. For that matter, never in a million years like Josh Allen. He's never going to be that guy. However, those guys that I just mentioned are never going to be Jalen Hurts. It's not a rip. It's actually a compliment. He's a one-of. Will Jalen Hurts ever throw the ball like Patrick Mahomes? No. Will Patrick Mahomes ever run the ball like Jalen Hurts and throw the ball? No. It's not a rip. It's a style. It's an approach. It's a mentality. Dick Vermeil's attitude is, why would you take that away from him to make him a lesser player? That was my takeaway. And I started thinking about that. So you run that horse until the horse's hooves come off? Or do you try to preserve it? What do? If you're the Eagles, you've invested, 5 years? $255, really a 3-year contract at $50 million. You just let the chips fall where they may? Jalen Hurts is not at that style going to play 10-plus years in this league. Maybe he will. I don't know. But traditionally, no one lasts. Because by the end of those dual threat guys, they're beat up like Cam Newton, or to that matter, even Michael Vick. If that guy delivers a Super Bowl title in 5 years playing that style, but he plays 8 years, 8 superstar years, but gets hurt, is it worth it? Yeah. Yes. So do you want Jalen to run? I'm going to ask Gary Cobb this question too in hour 2. But don't you think Dick's right? Vermeil's right here. Dude, don't take that part of his game away. He'll be a lesser version of what he did a year ago. Here's what I would say to you about Jalen Hurts. I would say this. I think and I said this the other day to you guys. If Jalen Hurts plays the same football that he did a year ago, he'll be in the conversation again for the MVP award. And get this, his football team will be back in the NFC title game. The thing that I'm looking for is to be a better version of what he was a year ago, which is this: more experience, more game decision. And what did Phil Simms say? Xander's with us, and I don't think Xander heard this. Do you know what Phil Simms said? That there's more of a chance that Jalen Hurts gets hurt in the pocket more than the open field. And here's why. He's got more control of the running space in open field. He knows when to get down, when not to get down. When you're in the pocket, you're sitting here, you never know what's coming up from the blind side. Most quarterbacks get hurt because of why? They get rolled up on, blow a knee. Okay? I mean, You have more control of where you're going in open space. I never thought about that until Phil Simms pointed that out. Jalen knows when to get down. He knows when to slide. His decision-making is 10 times that of both Lamar Jackson and also Josh Allen. Now, do I think that Jalen is the athlete those two are? No, I don't. But then again, I've told you this numerous times. I never thought Tom Brady was the athlete that Aaron Rodgers was. Aaron Rodgers is a better athlete than Tom Brady. He's more technically sound than Tom Brady. He's a better thrower of the football. Doesn't really result in wins and titles, though, does it? Because that's where your intangibles do come in. Look, this is an observation of what Dick Vermeil said today. And I find it to be intriguing. You know, I was part of that group that said, we got to figure a way to get this guy less rushes. Now I'm starting to believe like Coach Vermeil would run this guy. He's not taking that away from the game. Plus, get this. Why would you play into the hands of the defensive coordinator? Oh, he's not going to run that much this year? That means I don't have to leave a spy in. That means I can cover Goddard more. Don't you want that decoy also? That his ability to take off and run is there. Right? Look, I've said it and I'll say it again. Jalen Hurts is never going to be a prolific NFL passer without his running ability. He's not. He's not. He's not going to be a guy that's going to sit back there 45 attempts and beat you. He's not. But what he does do, hey, how many times did we do this last year with Jalen Hurts? It's 3rd and 10. This dude's picking that up. I had more confidence in Jalen Hurts picking up a 3rd and 10 than Mahomes. You bet I did. Hey, I'm sitting there watching the games going, he's getting this. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, which they weren't in the situation. Okay? And Rocksteady goes, I think he will. Dude, off of 1 year, you're hoping he does. You have no proof of this. Consistency is something that we talk about with elite. Those are elite. Mahomes is elite because he's continuing to do it, and he's doing it with lesser talent. That's elite. This team that beat you, as I've said to you over the last 3 weeks, was a lesser team than what you guys put on the field on Super Bowl 58. And he beat you because he's elite, along with this coach. I'm running Jalen Hurts now. I think everything that Dick Vermeil said is right. I just want him to be smarter. And one thing is for sure. You know, couple weeks ago, they said this when they were in OTAs. They said that we want to see Jalen Hurts take that next step. Do you know what I want to see Jalen Hurts take that next step? Continuing to be a great decision maker. Continuing to improve on decision-making moves that he has in game. If he continues to do that, his decision-making, hey, by the way, who's a better in-game decision-maker, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning? Who's a better in-game situational player, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers will go 33 of 35 in a ball game for 375 yards against Brady. But the 2 incompletions, one of them will be a pick for a touchdown, and Brady throws the game winner. There'll be times in games where they'll make a poor decision. I'll say this to you about your guy, Jalen Hurts, last year. There were very few times. Can you name me a game where you came away going like this? Man, that guy's decision-making was terrible. Was there a game last year you went, his decision-making, man? I mean, I don't, I went back and looked at that, and I don't remember one game last year where I came away. Well, there were games where I thought maybe he didn't put his best numbers up, but I never came away doing this with Hurts. You know, man, his decision-making in that game was terrible. How many times you say that about Garoppolo? How many times you say that about Rodgers? Even in their prime. Brady included. You never said that about Brady. Couple games, hey, over 20 years, you're going to have a couple of them clunkers. Jalen's first real big year being a star in the league or a potential star in the league, he really didn't have one of those games. It's a testament to who he is. He's a one-of, right, Yale? He's a one-of. Hey, I'd rather have a one-of than I can't. Do you understand how important that is, that Jalen Hurts is a one? Why is that so hard? Here's why you would rather have a one-of. I know how to game plan Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. I know how to game plan them guys. You know what you can't account for? Is a wildcat quarterback that can throw. And that's what you have in Philly. Do you know why so many coordinators are struggling last year defending him? They didn't have a book on him. Nobody knew how good he was becoming. That's not going to be the case this year. There's miles of game tape on him now. And like I said to you, you know what I do to Hurts this year? I hit that guy as hard as I can every time he's in open space. I'm going to pound that guy. I'm going to get illegal hits on him. I'm going to have JOPs on him. Every single time he takes off, I am clobbering him. I'm going to wear that guy down. I want 5 guys on every single tackle when it comes to Hurts. I want someone putting a hat on him. Hit him in the elbows. Hit him in the forearms. Muscle this guy up. That's how you got to be physical with Hurts because he's physical. Jalen Hurts plays a physical game. I'm going to go after him. Not doing cheap shots because that does me no good. Penalties kill me. I'm talking about gang tackling. I'm talking about everybody around the ball. He has the ball, hit him. Hit him, stick him. Make that guy know you may win the game, but I may see you again in the playoffs. And we're going to hit you as hard as we possibly can. We'll find out how long he can last. Because to me, what will make Jalen Hurts the last 2 years has not been able to withstand the war of attrition. He's missed games. That's going to not get better. The key is going to have him manage that. I'm not saying on a pitch count. I'm saying this. Jalen Hurts has to improve on making sure his decision-making doesn't take him out of ball games. And games that, if you guys miss 2 games this year, you lose home field advantage. You can't miss 2 games this year. You cannot. With that schedule, you cannot. You can't afford 2 games. Because I think the Cowboys are going to be right there. Seattle might be there. The 49ers are going to be there because they always are there. Okay? Seals, after this season, you will rank Hurts better than Herbert. No, I won't. No, I will not. The only place that happens is in Philly. There's not a personnel guy on the planet that would take Jalen Hurts over Justin Herbert. Nobody. You know why? He could do more with less. Your guy, Justin Herbert, in that offense, with that old line, he goes 17-0. He goes 17-0. A true drop-back passer. With that offensive line and 2,000-yard wide receivers, if Patrick Mahomes played in Philly, he'd have 8,000 passing yards. They'd never lose a game, and they beat people by 50 points. Again, at the end of the day, the Eagles are a physical team. When you're a physical team, you're not going to put up gigantic passing numbers. You know, quite frankly, I've said this to you guys before as well. I've never seen 2,000 wide receivers and a quarterback who just got over 3,700 yards. I've never seen that. Usually when you see 2,000-yard wide receivers, you see a guy with 4,500 yards. Shit, what's his name? Carson Wentz had 4,000 passing yards. He didn't have a guy on his football team with over 700 yards in receptions that year. Crazy. That was a crazy great year that Wentz had. Nobody on the football team had 1,000 yards or even 700 yards. And he had $4,000. That just shows you how great he was. Okay? Dude, once again, because you guys get butthurt, you think this is a slam. You're out of your tree. No one's slamming the kid. I said this to you. He wins 12 ball games this year. Jalen Hurts will be an elite quarterback because then there's no excuses. He's taken on big-time teams this year. Hardest schedule in the league. They win 12 games this year, you'll be a better football team than you were even a year ago. Even a year ago. What are you talking about? Again, you know, hey, and stop lying. Stop lying. If you put all these quarterbacks into a draft, Jalen Hurts is not getting drafted ahead of Justin Herbert. He's not even, for that matter, getting drafted ahead of Trevor Lawrence. Okay? You have to have a full loaded team for that style to work. Great O-line. So let me ask you this. How far do you think Jalen Hurts could take the Bears? If I put Patrick Mahomes on the Bears, they're an NFC contender. What do you think if I put Jalen Hurts on the Bears right now? They win 8 games? Maybe. He'd win 8 games. I put Joe Burrow on that Bears team, I'd probably win 10, 11 games. Because I could throw myself out of trouble. That's what they do. Again, it's not taking. Hey, if that's how you look at it, that's a you issue. I think the kid's come a long way. I think the kid's getting better. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to do what Dick Vermeil said. I'm going to run this guy. I'm going to run this guy because you know why? That's part of his game. You can't take that part of his game. Like, get this. Can I tell you what I think that'd be like? That'd be like taking Tom Brady's check down game away from him. What would Tom Brady be if you took his check down game away? Like you take Hurts' running ability away. You think Brady would be the same quarterback and have the same amount of wins if you took his check down offense down? Absolutely not. Tom Brady is the ultimate check down quarterback. He's the ultimate check down guy. He's not a deep passer. That's not who he is. I mean, no risk it, no biscuit. It's not Tom Brady football. Never won a Super Bowl with a big-time throwing offense. Ever did they win a Super Bowl. He was a check-down king. Check-down king. I mean, look, the kid's continuing to get better, but Dick Vermeil's right. Run this guy. Absolutely run him. Continue to run him. Okay? Guy threw for 300 yards in the Super Bowl. Yeah, because, by the way, I said he was great in it. So what? I saw Blake Bortles throw for 498. Throwing for 300 yards today in the NFL really is not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Okay? Targeting. You can't touch the receivers. When I see a guy throw for 3,000 yards in the NFL today, whatever. When I see a guy like Mahomes have Tyreek Hill taken out of his offense and break every NFL regular season record there is, that's special. And beat an elite team like the Eagles. Hey, so is Brock Purdy a special player too? How many 300-yard games did Brock Purdy have? Brock Purdy. How many special games did he have? Yeah, he's special too. Chicken wing turdy. Okay. Phenomenal. Yeah, he's great too, man. All these things. Look at Eli Manning. He's a great example. Okay? Opie is a really great example. Opie Manning, and look at all the numbers that he put up. Opie Manning threw for 400 yards too. Would you consider him an elite guy? Well, he beat Brady twice. Yeah, I know Jim Plunkett's got 2 Super Bowl championships too. Okay? Opie Manning, he's elite too, right? He threw for a bunch of 300-yard games. Tony Romo, is he elite? Give me a break. All right, let's move on. So, to close that up, I agree with Dick Vermeil. Let's run this dude, man. I'm going to run that pony until that guy's hoofs come off. And if it happens to come off in year 5, year 7, hopefully year 10, so be it. But I'm going to run that dude until that dude breaks down. Just like a running back. I'm going to run that guy, and I don't care. I'm going to run it. By the way, like I said, if I'm a coordinator, I'm going to hit that guy with every single guy on my football team. I want 11 guys on him. He takes off in open space, there better be more than one hat on him. Because by the end of that game, I promise you, if you're the Cowboys, you want to play that guy later in the year too, just to see how he's all nice and tenderized. I want to tenderize that guy. That's right, man. You got paid $50 million to get beat up. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. Because we all know how those $50 million deals end up coming out. I never said Bountygate. I never said that. You mean money in the jar? Everybody puts $100 in the jar. When they take a quarterback out, that guy gets the jar to carry it over for the following week. You mean something like that? I don't know what a quarterback jar is. I've never seen a quarterback jar. I don't know what the quarterback jar is like. Some weeks it's like $700. Some weeks it's $7,000. Depends. I've never seen a quarterback jar in the locker room, in the D-line room. Never seen it. Okay, here. Let me move on to this topic now. Okay, here we go. Look, I know the most important thing on the planet is to win your division and then to win your conference. There's no question about it. And the Eagles are supreme in the NFC. I still think the Niners have to figure out the quarterback position. I think Seattle's a good team. Cowboys may be there. I don't know. Okay? But the Cowboys are always the Cowboys, okay? Let's look at big picture here. You think the Philadelphia Eagles in this offseason have done anything to – and by the way, you play them this year – to solve the puzzle known as Patrick Mahomes? You think they've done enough in the offseason to win a Super Bowl? What would that be if they have? You think they've done enough this offseason to win a Super Bowl? What would that be? You couldn't beat them 2 years in a row. Now you got them another time at Arrowhead. Yeah, most definitely. Jeremiah, what is that? What have you done that's an upgrade to beat Mahomes? What's that again? Let me hear it. What's the upgrade? And again, listen, I'm going beyond the division. And I'm going beyond the NFC here. I'm asking you because you've lost 2 years in a row to Mahomes and Andy Reid. What have you done to upgrade your chances of beating the world champion Chiefs? Fired Gannon and hired a more inexperienced guy. Interesting. Defensive scheme? What is that? What's the scheme? Is it a 5 front, 4 front, 34? What is it? I haven't. What is it? Not getting worse is a plus. So you lose 5 of your top tacklers and you weren't a good tackling team anyway. Your middle of your football defense is completely been gutted. What have you done to upgrade your chance of beating Mahomes this year? Everyone says the Eagles are a threat. What have you done to upgrade your chances on beating Patrick Mahomes this year? You know, you may play that guy twice more. You are going to play him once more. You know, you may play him again in the Super Bowl. What makes you think you're going to be in a better position to beat him this time? You got lesser experience on defense. You think the Kobe Dean is going to call a defense that's going to confuse Patrick Mahomes? Or do you think that Patrick Mahomes is going to run circles around an inexperienced middle linebacker? He's going to run circles around that guy. TJ Edwards, the loss of his knowledge in the middle of that field will be felt. Get this, Dean may even be a better player, but his lack of experience playing the position, especially in the NFL, they're going to attack him. You guys are under some notion that this guy, well, you know, he's just going to fit. He's not going to just fit right in. You got to know formations. You got to know disguise coverages. You've got to know what the offensive line, if they're resetting on a 30 front or a 43, you've got to move the line. You got to know strength on the field. You got to know wide side, short side. You got to know what they like to do out of a brown set, red set. Hey, will they end up doing middle screen here? And you got to know all that, and you haven't played ever. But you think he's just going to step in there. TJ Edwards knew what he was doing in the room. That's why he had the green dot. You just think he's going to fit in there. And your lack of depth and experience at your D tackle position, they're going to run the ball at you like they did in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs. And for the record, in the second half, they took care of the Eagle O-line. What was it, a little take over 100 yards? That's not Eagle football. Miles Sanders was MIA. He was on a milk carton in the second half. Shit, they were sending SOSs out like that lost sub. SOS. Have you seen Miles Sanders? No, he's in the sub down near the Titanic. Okay. I'm so glad Dan is Dan's always wrong. Really? I had you in the Super Bowl last year. You're welcome. Take the day off. You're welcome. Dan's always wrong? I had you in the Super Bowl. Yeah, right. Wrong. Okay. Well, hey, and by the way, did you see what the new comment is coming out of Buffalo? Stephon Diggs restructured his contract because he wanted to have DeAndre Hopkins signed. That's why he held out. I tweeted that out. Gee, I wonder where I heard that from. Let me guess. Ken Dorsey? Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Way to give Big Sills a heads up. Oh, wait, who's he? He's the OC. Dumb people sometimes. You don't have any connections? I asked the offensive coordinator, why is he holding out? He restructured his contract, and he thought we'd sign, and Bean would go after and get D-Hop. Not that hasn't happened, nor it still might happen, but that was one of the reasons that he said that they lied to him, was that he restructured his contract for a reason so they can go out and get DeAndre Hopkins. Boom! You're welcome. Take the day off, kid. No, I'm with you, Yale. Sills, do you think Dean was on the bench last year with his eyes closed? He was learning. So you think that if you sit at a chalkboard and you're drawing plays up, you think that's experience? Or do you think getting out there and getting your ass handed to you or being in there, hey, it's one thing to sit, hey, How many times have you studied for a test, you get to the test, and you end up shitting the bed? 90% of the time? Just because you think you know what to do doesn't mean you're going to do it because you haven't done it. This is a game of feel. Sometimes game plans get ripped up on the sidelines, right? Boom. How many times have you seen the Patriots? They got a game plan going. Belichick just takes the playbook and rips it up and goes, we're doing this. We're going to go 5 front, bear look. We're going to go this route. How many times has he done that? Done it 100 times. Come on, man. You said the Eagles were not going to make the playoffs before the draft. I did say that. I did exactly. When I said that on January, February, March, April, May. I said it March 13th, actually, that they wouldn't. Because you know why? I never thought in a million years that Howie Roseman would come up with a way to have such less cap hits on the Jalen Hurts contract. It's an unprecedented contract. I said there's no chance on hell that they are going to be able to keep players. He proved me wrong. No question about it. The damage of all the players that could have been exited off this team was diminished. You're still not what you were a year ago. No one would say you have the same talent you have a year ago. Nobody. With any kind of reasoning or any kind of brains. And how he was able to work his magic. And he made Darius Slay took a haircut, $3.5 million off his base pay. He's on a 1-year contract. He ain't on no 3-year deal, man. That guy won't be on this football team next year. He'll be 33 next year. He's not on this team. He's playing 1 year here. So what'd they do? They gave him a boatload of guaranteed money. He's on a 1-year deal. And they were able to do that. You still lost Hargrave. You still lost Edwards. You still lost White. I know. They all suck now. You lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I know. He sucks too. Don't worry. And I know Isaac Seumalo sucks too. Oh, and I know Sanders sucks too. All guys had raises. All guys had career years. But they all suck. I know. Okay? I know. They suck. I guess you think, what? I got you in the Super Bowl. What are you talking about? We just don't have the depth we had. So wait a minute. You think you're just as experienced at the D-tackle position this year as you were a year ago? Do you really? Do you really think that? You're correct. Haven't done enough to take down Mahomes. That's Xander. You haven't. What, you think you're great upgrades at coaches? How about Spagnuolo and Andy Reid versus the Eagle coaching staff at Arrowhead this year? How you think you've done enough? Hey, and you know what's crazy? You guys always bring this up because you're stat hounds. You know that Jalen Hurts has better stats passing the ball in 2 games against Patrick Mahomes. But why do I feel that the distance between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts in talent is like the Grand Canyon? How can that be? Wait, Sills, he's had better stats the last 2 games. Yeah, but why do I feel it's the Grand Canyon? It's the Grand Canyon. Like the gap between him, quite frankly, and I said this last week to you guys, the gap between him, not just Jalen, and I disagree with Jason Cole. I think the gap between him and everybody else in the NFL is quite large. And I would even make this point to you. At any time in Brady's career, I don't really think that gap is as wide when he was the top quarterback in the league as it is now with this guy. And there's a lot of talented quarterbacks in the NFL. Okay? I do, man. You have done nothing to improve your chances on beating the Kansas City Chiefs this offseason. Nothing. Nothing. So when you go into Arrowhead, you're going to be less experienced on defense. Well, by the time you get to them, though, you would have had a bunch of games under your belt. Oh, and I can't wait to see Nakobe Dean versus Mahomes. That should be quite interesting. Right? Be like watching Xander play MLB. Where's he going? Where's he going? Wait. If I were him, man, I'd get into a classroom with Seth Joyner and start talking some ball with him and start seeing what he sees. It's one thing to have a linebacker coach sitting there barking at you. It's another thing to have a guy who played the game and sitting there telling you what to see. Anyone can be beat. It's a different team. What's a different team? I don't give a shit what that team in Kansas City is. I care about the Eagles. And the Eagles haven't done anything to improve their chances on beating that guy. Or for that matter, any elite quarterback. Let's see who they've played in the last 2 years. Okay, Brady crushed them. Shit, Derek Carr crushed you. 2 wins for Mahomes. He was unstoppable in the second half of the Super Bowl, too. Mahomes. Garoppolo. Herbert wins. Stop me here. Dak. So Brady, Carr, Mahomes, Garoppolo, Herbert, Dak Prescott. You guys haven't beaten. But you have beaten. You didn't beat Andy Dalton. Shit. I forgot, man. Shit. Dimes Jones has a win on the last 2 years. Dimes Jones. Holy shit. Even Dimes Jones has a win. Man. Dimes Jones. Shit. Tyler Heineke. He ain't even the starter anymore, has a win over the Eagles. Tyler Heineke. So when you get, hey, look, I'll tell you what. This year you're taking on Allen and you're taking on Mahomes. Whew, man. This is going to be quite interesting. This is going to be quite interesting. If we have no chance to beat Mahomes, why don't we just tank the first overall pick, Big Sills? Because I don't think very many teams do. The only people that can actually beat Mahomes is the guy in Buffalo. He's already beat him twice. The guy in Cincinnati's beaten him. Allen and Burrow have beaten Mahomes. The guy in Baltimore's actually beaten him. He's beaten him too. I mean, right? What have you done to improve your chances of winning the Super Bowl? Sean Desai, baby? Sean Desai. Oh, here we go. Let's move on to this. Because I see people are getting their little feelings hurt. And, I don't want anyone to get, have to get the napkin out. Shit, we've only been on the show 42 minutes here. And I don't want anyone to start crying. But this just in. Breaking news. Big Sills is saying this. It's time for the Philadelphia Eagles to make sure that Derek Barnett is not on this football team anymore. Why are you here? Why are you here? This guy's been on like a GI Bill. He has been the most non-productive, first round, whatever. I mean, this guy must be related to Howie or the owner. I've never seen a guy in my life get more. Well, he got hurt. Does it matter? Does it matter? Why is Derek Barnett here? Because this would be another first round disaster for Howie. Andre Dillard, that didn't work out. Rager, that didn't work out. Barnett, that clearly has not worked out. I mean, and now I'm not saying this about Jordan Davis. I want to see the kid. Come on. JM goes that Barnett will be traded. For what? I wouldn't trade shit for him. He has no value. What's Derek Barnett's value? Because he's on the Eagle team? Is the only value. You see, at least Andre Dillard, I could say this about Andre Dillard. Some go, Sills, you calling Andre Dillard a bust? I don't know. But he's not here. Okay? Isn't he a solid death piece? He's literally the DE number 5. For a first rounder, Xander says he's your number 5 DE. How much you paying him? You see, this is a cap league. This is a salary cap league. And when you got a first round pick who's your number 5 end, isn't he a solid piece on depth? Dude, I could play Milton Williams, pay him half as much, and have less face. Milton Williams and Derek Barnett. Milton Williams is more productive. Milton Williams. Isn't he a good piece? Yeah. What pick was he? Please tell me he wasn't a top 10 pick. Can't be. $3 million. That guy ain't worth that money. Shit. He's a first rounder, though. You got a first rounder who is lucky to be on the depth chart. Number 5N. 14th overall. Right in the old ballpark of Jordan Davis. Whoa. Hey, Howie's got some problems around in that pick there. At least they were able to get, what's his name, Fletcher Cox up in that neck of the woods too, man. Holy shit. Derek Barnett, the 14th pick in the draft, and he's your number 5 end. Wow, well done. Whoo, man. Holy cow. This guy's on the land. He belongs on the island of misfit toys. He's on the island with the Jalen Rakers. Now, look, like I was going to say about Andre Dillard. You see, this is where you at least get to say this about Andre Dillard. Well, Andre Dillard never started in Philly in the O-line. Okay, well, is that bad? You got a bunch of really great players when he played there. That's why Dillard got the money from the Titans he got. Because you were like this. Well, he didn't start in Philly. Well, Sayamalo, Dickerson, Kelsey, Mulata, Johnson. Yeah, I mean, right? You kind of get it there a little bit. That's why he ended up getting some money, and there was value for him, kind of value for him. He still was the number 1. He recovered the Brady fumble for our only Super Bowl. I don't hate him because of that. One shining moment. A huge shining moment, too. Yes, sir. So he recovered the football that Brady fumbled. That's what keeps him on the team. I got it. Get this, Derek Barnett is more revered than Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz did 10 times more as an Eagle player than that guy ever did. The NFL is full of guys stealing money. But traditionally, that's not been something that the Eagles have done. They're not a team that overpays people. That is for the Dallas Cowboys. Like, look at this. Look at every single player on that football team right now that you guys have. Is there one player overpaid? Maybe Slay. Maybe Slay. Maybe. Is Devontae? No. Is AJ? No, he's market value. Is Goddard? 14, 15? No. Are any of the offensive tackles? No. Is Dickerson? No. $15 million for Kelsey? No. $50 million for Jalen? You gave that guy 46-1 in Arizona? Absolutely not. There's not a guy in that football team that's overpaid except that guy. What's he on the team for? Because he recovered Brady's football. Should have got it signed. Maybe what they should have did too was like swap jerseys and shit. Yeah. Maybe that's what they should have did. So look, okay. So he's depth. Well, that's not very good depth. Because he's a guy I can't count on. Even the coach says this shit about him. Derek Barnett again. Oh, man. Oof. You see, I'm here to help you. Some of you don't understand that, but I'm here to help you, okay? Also, top of the hour, the 2023 Big Sills All-Pro preseason team. We're going to put that out there. That'll be at the top of the hour here. So you guys still haven't told me what the Eagles have done to beat the Chiefs this offseason. Name the Kobe Dean middle linebacker. On an historical pass rush, he's solid depth. The 13th pick is solid depth. Well done. Big Sills, who would you rather have, Hardgrave or Jalen Carter? Good question. Keenan goes like, I'll get back to that question. Keenan goes, Sills is a walking contradiction because players' performances go up and down, jackass. It's not an opinion change. It's player performance changing. Just like you thought Carson Wentz was your love boy in 2017. You don't have that same opinion of him now. You had it back then. You're all in love with him. There's my boy. Look at my guy go. Look at Carson go. Now, he's like one of the most hated guys in the history of Philadelphia sports. Don't do that. My opinion changes with players' performances changing. Coaches winning and losing. It happens. It's not an opinion change. The player either gets better or worse. Some of you ass bags think that I'm going to sit here and bang on Jalen Hurts not having a good year a year ago because that's what some of the tools in Philly do because they got to kind of make their takes right. I'm not going to keep going over this because most of you need to be hitting the head with a brick. Players change takes. Carson Wentz got $100 and some odd million contract extension from Howie Roseman. So are you saying Howie Roseman contradict himself too? Isn't that a contradiction in its own self and backed up by money? Didn't Howie Roseman contradict himself? Yes or no? Did Howie Roseman contradict himself with Carson Wentz as a player? Yes or no? You say that I contradict myself? How about your GM that you call the next coming of God when it comes to being GMs in the NFL? Did Howie Roseman contradict himself with Carson Wentz? Yes or no? Yes or no? Did he? I would think you gave a guy a contract extension. You made him the second highest paid player in the league. And then a year later, you blow him out. I don't know. That's contradicting yourselves to me. Did he not? Of course he did. It was a world contradiction. So is your GM. So is your GM. I'll give you another contradiction of Howie Roseman. Xander knows this because he was with me all last year. This time a year ago, June 19th, Howie Roseman had 2 first-round draft choices to go into this previous April draft for what? A D tackle and an edge rusher? He went into this year's draft this time a year ago thinking he was going to get a quarterback because he wasn't sold on Hurts. That's a contradiction too. But what changed? The player's performance. Use some common sense, folks. It's very simple. Your own GM contradicts himself every year with what direction they're going to go in building the team. Walking contradiction. Your general manager's a walking contradiction. Very simple. How he learns from his mistakes? Well, that's a nice way. Gene Combe, that's a nice way of putting that he contradicts himself. Okay? Dan, your problem is you state absolutes. Never. Hey, don't worry. Xander says that too. It's just the way Big Sills talk. It's called being an Italian. Okay, maybe you guys run into a few Italians in South Philly and in Philly. Okay? Maybe you see, this is why I work here. You know why I work here? You know why I work here? Because I talk like you. How he didn't contradict himself at the time of signing Wentz. Wentz was a good quarterback, but then he fired him. That's a contradiction. Then he fired him. He didn't contradict himself, but 2 years later he fired him. So he gave him $38 million. You had a $38 million cap hit. And that's not a contradiction? Wow, man. I need to go back to school because I got to learn. I got to learn. I got to learn what that means now. You gave a guy almost $40 million, and a year later you fire him. Oh, you're probably right. That's not. Carson wanted out? Who wants out of a $40 million deal? Show me. It's not a contradiction. It's a mistake. So, again, Yale. Last year, this time, Howie Roseman got 2 first-round draft choices to get a quarterback this year. Everyone knew it. Everyone knew it. Jalen's play changed it. That's not a mistake. That's course change. Guy's performance was better. He changed the strategy. The Eagles, you got to at least give me that. The Eagles changed strategy last year. Once they saw Hurts playing the way he was, they changed their strategy. Wow. Here, A, B, C, D. You know, the alphabet, it's pretty simple to follow. 1, 2, 3, 4, what you want to use. You can use anything you want. You have to change strategy when you can. But why do you change strategy, Brian? Because players' performances go up and down. It's not a change and a contradiction. What you're doing is you're observing how the team is playing. Like here, I'll tell you, here's not a contradiction. Jordan Davis, to me, is a good football player. Is he the 13th pick? Remember? And Xander was here when I said it. I had him at around 22. But remember, the kid from Washington, I wanted the Eagles to draft because didn't they have 3 ones? They had 3 ones, right? I wanted them to take the kid Lloyd, who starts, and the DB from Washington, who starts in Kansas City. And I wanted him to take Jordan Davis at 22. I had all them, I think they had like 19 and something. And I said, he's either going to be, Xander was here. I said he's either going to be Vince Wilfork or Fletcher Cox. He was here. I said those exact words. I like the pick. Okay, he's not a 3-down guy yet. Jordan Davis is not a 3-down guy yet. Okay? He's a terrible pass rusher. He's not very good pass rusher. He's got to work on him. Josh Sweat got better. He got better. Okay? So what did Howie do? He didn't get the performance he thought from Jordan Davis. He went right back in the draft into the defensive tackle position. So that would be like Xander and Big Joe Kraus doing this. Hey, let me hire a guy, and we're going to call it the American Football Show. And it's going to be with Big Willie. Yeah. Big Willie in the American Football Show, and it's going to come on right before me. Damn. You hired a guy, and you're calling it the American Football Show? With Big Willie? Man. Big Willie's got a show? Not Big Sills? No, you still got the show. So you hired a guy to do my job for me right before me, doing the same shit I'm doing. Man. Damn, I'm mad at Big Willie. Hey, I don't want Big Willie. Why is Big Willie here? I don't want Big Willie. Xander hired Big Willie. Big Willie with co-host Anton. I'm sorry. Hey, low blow. It's all good. I like the kid. He's from Connecticut, too. It's all right. Yeah, okay, Bob. Keep making that bullshit up. Xander was here, jackass. Receipts. Never. Dee baby. How you doing? Bob Brown. Who's that? Oh, my God. Yeah, hey, God rest his soul, man. What a great offensive lineman passed away over the weekend. Eagle and Raider. Yeah, okay, guys. Yeah, okay. Sure, right. The Big Sills preseason 2023 All-Pro team. We're going to hit on that next here, okay? But don't forget also, my boy JAKIB from Fox 29. I'll let you guys all pontificate on hour number 2 coming up. You keep it right here on the National Football Show.
Do you